Sorry. Yes. Deborah Carter. Kim Sella.
Here.
James Cotter.
Here.
Ed James.
Here.
Linda Camp.
Here.
Marisha Rollins. Ben Samuels. Jordan Sanders. James Neely. I saw him on here.
I see his, yeah, I see that he logged in.
Here, can you hear me?
There we
Yes,
go.
now we can. Thank you. Okay. The members of the St. Louis County or bi-state introduce themselves and tell what department they're from, please.
Okay, I'll start with Bi-State. This is Chuck Stewart. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Metro Transit.
Tammy Fulbright, the Chief Financial Officer.
Patty Beck from Bi-State Development, Senior Director of Media and Public Relations, filling in for Ted Zimmerman today.
Brad Kelling, Captain Open to Transit Police.
Melissa Webb, Director of Security, Public Media, and Customer Engagement. I'm standing in for Kevin Scott.
Adam Spector. I'm with the St. Louis County Department of Transportation.
Ray Golick with St. Louis County Department of Transportation.
Anyone else in attendance? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay, item 4. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes from the meetings of January the 8th, 2024 and February 12th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve them together, or should we make the motion separate?
Make a motion, we approve them together.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved properly second that we will combine them. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Aye. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved for those for January the 8th and February the 12th, 2024. The reports, St. Louis County. I think, as he said, there was no one from the county council office. Okay, county executive, office of the county executive. Okay, St. Louis Department of Transportation, Public Works.
Yeah, I think there was a question from the previous meeting about the estimated number of bus pads that we'd be installing this year. It looks like we're assuming that there's going to be 2 projects. Well, I think we have 4 projects coinciding with Metro bus routes. Looks like 2 of them have the bus pads included in them. It looks like 17 on North Hanley between St. Charles Rock Road and Natural Bridge, and another 7 on Jennings Station Road between Horde and Halls Ferry. And then we also have a project ongoing on Airport Road between 170 and North Florissant. Right now, I'm not sure that we have anything included for putting in the bus pads, but it was kind of unclear, and sometimes these things change in the field. So it looks like there are some bus stops along there, and I know that there's been some evolving issues on that project as far as some of the pedestrian accommodations. And, some of the sidewalk improvements that the repairs that'll be made would coincide with these bus stop locations. So essentially, while we wouldn't be doing a designated landing pad for a bus stop, the sidewalk would be improved to be ADA compliant, which is kind of like a bus pad. So I'm not sure on the exact number of those locations at this time.
If you can see any noticeable change, can you come back next meeting and give us an update on those, please?
I'm unlikely to see any change by then. I mean, it's kind of more going to be things involved in the field during construction. So we wouldn't know until, again, like the end of the project, what was actually done on these projects. But, you know, those are the projects that, you know, we see being constructed this year that coincide with possible locations.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Ed, if that's all right.
Yes, it is.
How do those then, Adam, potentially move into bus shelter amenities being added to those paths? Is that something that the county works with Metro with, or is that something that Metro looks at, or how does a pad move into a full-fledged bus shelter site?
Well, I think a bus shelter would require a separate pad because this is usually the pad that would be just right adjacent to the street. The bus shelter itself would have to be behind the sidewalk. So, you know, it's almost on a separate pad. That's not something that we build, or it's not something that we plan to build. You know, if somebody were to approach us and say, we're willing to pay for this bus shelter and put the bus shelter in, then, you know, I think we're open to the possibility of having our contractor pour that concrete slab at the time that we're building. But, you know, that's the whole bus shelter thing is kind of a separate issue. These pads are just the flat spots. So when you're getting on and off the bus, a place for a wheelchair to meet ADA compliance.
On that same topic, what can be done to have people, I guess, made aware that it's not the county's responsibility, but we can get somebody to sponsor that or to pay for that? How do we get the word out that we need them, and get somebody to step up to the plate? Or has that been done, or can it be done? If I made myself clear.
Well, I think that would be more on Metro's plate to do that. You know, we're just, again, focused on getting a sidewalk and the roadway taken care of. You know, and we put these pads in at known locations as we go. You know, as far as getting extra amenities, that's something that we usually do more by permit. You know, we would allow it. But like I said, I think if somebody, you know, if there was the interest and somebody was bringing that money to the table during the design process, I think that's something that, you know, we would be open to including for our contractor to do as they get to that point. You know, I don't know, you know, a lot of times, again, since those amenities like benches and shelters they go behind the sidewalk, that's not always in right of way that we have control over. So that would be something that would have to be acquired. So that would have to take place, you know, during the design process. We usually are only acquiring just enough right of way to do what we need to do, which is just behind the sidewalk, about a foot or so, just so that we have the space to pull out a concrete slab, pour in a concrete slab, but not to do any more than that. So that would take coordination earlier in the design process. And, you know, again, the benches and the shelters are not something that we stock or have or, you know, do anything with. You know, that's done by other parties. I believe Metro has those or keeps those in stock or something to that effect. So, you know, it's more kind of up to them as to where they would get placed and how that goes about. Unless somebody from Metro here knows otherwise and can correct me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or concerns on this topic?
No, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. St. Louis County Police.
Hi, good afternoon. The Bureau of Transit Police has been busy the last few weeks since our last meeting. Start with one of our major successes. We were contacted by the FBI. They were asking for assistance locating a missing and endangered child that was, they had information was utilizing the transit system, and less than 24 hours with the utilization of the real-time camera center, and our officers were able to locate the child and get her reunited with her mother. That was a positive. We have done 3 joint operations with the Department of Homeland Security that brings out some of their resources to help do high visibility patrols on the parking lots and platforms of the Metrolink station. It's been very successful, all culminating with this weekend when we had the perfect storm, when we had the Cardinals, the soccer team, and the Battlehawks all going at once. I'm talking with St. Louis City and St. Clair. Don't believe there was any big incidents. Everything went to plan. During the week of the 25th of April, we'll be doing another fair audit event. I've contacted Chestnut Healthcare Systems and our St. Louis County Police Department's Homeless Outreach Unit. It's going to assist us when we do this event, as we do come in contact with a lot of unhoused riders. So hopefully be able to provide some resources and some alternatives and assistance for them. So it's been busy, but it's all been positive. Anybody have any questions for me?
No, I'd like to congratulate you on finding, how old was the young lady or the child? And was she just riding the trains or,
Yep, just riding the trains, but yeah, the biggest thing was just the cooperation between the real-time camera center, the dispatchers in there, and getting that information, and the description of this young lady, and getting it out to all the officers that are riding it, and they were able to locate her pretty quick. So it was a good deal.
I think I said this before, is the real-time camera center is fantastic. And we don't hear enough about it, or Joe Blow doesn't hear enough about it. And I think this would be a little nice public interest story, no names naturally, but just to say how you was able to find the child and get it safely back to the parents. I think it's a good public interest story that we should basically put the word out. I mean, that's how they say it's the best kept secret.
Sure.
If we don't say it, it's going to stay a secret. So, but thank you. Any questions for St. Louis County Police Department?
No, thank you.
Thank you. By state.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Chuck Stewart. I'll give you my operations report. You have in your packet our workforce update and our operations update. We are doing very well these days as it relates to the hiring and maintaining of our bus operator workforce. We now have over 630 drivers, more than we need at this point for the level of service that we have out on the street. So we're using this opportunity to give our drivers additional training, give them additional experience working with mentors. We have over 49 mentors. These are seasoned operators that have volunteered to provide this additional mentorship training to our new operators. They're driving together. The new operators are driving the routes of the experienced operator and learning the ropes. The experienced operator is riding with the new operator on their routes, so that there's a lot of transition of experience and knowledge in terms of bus operating that is being transferred at this time. We continue to have needs in terms of mechanics and Colorado operators. We have our $5,000 sign-on bonus was scheduled to end at the end of March. We've extended it until our hiring event on April 13th, which we'll have a big hiring event. And we've got all kind of publicity out there hoping to draw people in. but especially looking for caller ride operators and mechanics. The bonus will end at that point, and we will consider whether we will reinstate it for some areas of our workforce as we move forward. There was a question in the agenda about CDL program employees becoming operators. Not sure what that means. CDL training is part of our, were you gonna say something, Mr. James?
No, I think that was James Cotter.
Accident.
Okay, yeah. I guess what the CDL, what I was looking for, it seemed like they come on as a CDL, and I guess what is their function, or do they become operators?
A CDL is a license that's required to operate a bus.
Okay,
Okay,
That's
so as
clarification.
part of our training, was part of our hiring, in some cases, we are able, and we've had more frequency of that recently, we're able to hire people that already have CDLs, which makes them qualified to operate our buses. If you don't have a CDL when you're hired, it is part of our training program, so that you get the necessary skills to take the test to become a CDL operator. So it's not necessarily a program that we have. It's part of our regular training.
so if they do not have the license, they cannot operate the bus or train?
Without a CDL, they cannot operate a bus or a train. You can operate a caller ride van, however, without a CDL, because the size of the vehicle, among other things.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right. Thank you for that.
And so the other question had to do with turnover rate for mechanics and electricians. And I'm not sure exactly what the objective of that question is.
Well, it seemed like you said there was a high turnover, and I was just wondering, do we know why, especially in those two areas, that there is a
Well,
high
no,
turnover?
Okay, so then let me clarify that. I don't think there's a higher turnover rate. It has just been more difficult to attract people for those areas because of the experience and qualifications, and frankly, because of our benefits and compensation package, which we've improved considerably this past year. We have a new contract. This says electricians. We have a new contract with IBEW, and we have a new contract with Local 788 operators and maintenance personnel, both of which were focused on improving our compensation and benefit packages so that we'd have a better opportunity to attract and retain people in that area. Again, our success thus far has been with bus operators primarily. We're now focusing our attention more so on those areas, and hopefully, along with caller ride operators, and hopefully we'll get the same kind of results in those areas.
You did mention about the $5,000 bonus will ending soon. Is there anything in the works to basically have some type of program going forward in the future, or do we just expect that we won't get the number of recruits that we normally get during this period?
Well, if I tell you that, then people won't be encouraged to come to our hiring event on
That's true. I'm so, yeah.
the 13th. I want some mystery to be out there.
All right.
Show up on the 13th.
All right. Well,
But the bonuses they've worked very well in terms of our bus operators. So I think if need be, we'll figure out some way to improve the situation for maintenance and caller ride personnel. I see a couple of questions out there. Anybody?
Okay,
any other questions on workforce?
yeah, it's Linda Camp. I have a question. I saw you were training the loop trolley operators. Where do they fall into your employee thing? I know they're probably part-time employees because the Loop Trolley only runs for a couple of months and how their training works.
Mhm. They are part of the local 788, similar to our Metrolink operators. So they are, but they are part-time. So it's a pretty select special group of operators over there. We only operate certain months of the year. So they're pretty much part-time operators.
Okay, thanks.
Kim, Stella?
Question about Coloride. Did you mention where you were with the Coloride numbers and how short are you currently for your current operating plan?
Okay, so as Colorado operators, we are having much better success recently with that. We just completed a contract negotiation for Colorado. That contract went up for vote at the union level last week. It passed overwhelmingly. So again, I think we're putting the conditions in place to have better success as it relates to Colorado operators. We're revising our training programs. I got a number of other things I want to talk about with Colorado, but I'm still looking for about 50 Colorado operators. I've got about 30 in the hopper right now, either in training or about to go into training. I've got probably another 30 or 40 in the pipeline. So we're seeing the results of our efforts as far as Colorado operators are concerned. We're seeing those come to fruition as well.
One more question on that, Chuck. When someone is hired, how long does it take them to get through the Colorado training process to become an official Colorado operator?
About 6 weeks.
Thank you.
And we also have a mentorship program with Colorado. So, you know, there were a number of things that we put in place, you know, starting with these incentives and then benefit changes and then compensation changes, improving our training programs. All of those things are coming together, working together to help us with our staffing issues.
Thank you.
All right, ridership trends. Ridership this year is pretty much the same as last year. We're not showing any appreciable increase in ridership as of yet. I think that's kind of because of the service that we are putting out at this point. We're in the process of improving our service. As I reported in January, we had significant changes to our frequencies in our service providing. We're moving forward now to our, we're going to have another service change in June. For that service change, we're predicting increased frequencies on another 13 routes. We had 17 routes in January that we increased frequency. We're going to restore 12-minute weekday service on Grand, which is our biggest route. A lot of the 60-minute service, well, a lot of the 120-minute service is going to 60-minute service. So we're basically focusing now, as stated before, on improving our productivity and our frequency. At this point, with the number of operators that we have and the number of operators that we have on our extra board, that there should be no, we shouldn't have any missed trips as it relates to Metro Bus. And okay, I'll stop there. Let Kim. Question.
All right, Chuck, lots of questions today. First question is, when is that June service change?
Around the 15th, it's the middle of June.
Okay, thank you. And then what did ridership look like on Saturday? Brad touched on it a little bit. You know, we had 3 professional sporting events in downtown St. Louis. What did ridership look like? Did we see people coming back for these events in downtown?
Absolutely, absolutely. We, you know, we were able to handle the increase, but yes, we have shown over the past year, actually, that when we have events like that downtown, that Metrolink is a go-to option for the most part, and we were pleased. I was trying to get those numbers. I requested them. Maybe they'll come before the end of the call, but I was trying to get those exact numbers for the ridership for the weekend. So I'll continue to work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, the service change again. I think that this is showing significant progress in terms of our ability to improve our performance. And again, it's because of our increase in staffing. So we're looking forward to another significant service change in June. Any other questions concerning ridership?
Okay, here are no additional updates.
Okay, additional updates. I'd like to use that as to talk more about Colorado. You know, because Colorado is very significant to us, not only because it is a very, very well-deserved service for our community and our disabled community, but it's also a significant part of our overall transportation product. I cannot restore Metrolink, well, not Metrolink so much, but bus lines that may have been cut during the pandemic until I can bring Colorado back to its full productivity. So it's very important that we increase our staffing and increase our efficiency as it relates to Colorado. So we've done a couple of things. We were challenged by the ADA community to improve our phone systems. We're working on that. We implemented a phone tree last month, which is having impact on making the service more accommodating. We've added more phone lines. We're adding more phone lines in May. Completely new system for the company at large. We're looking at software improvements. The board approved a resolution at its last meeting to allow us to look at additional options in terms of software. And we think there's some out there that we can use for Colorado. They're currently a part of a cooperative, and which means that other agencies are using them, and the pricing is probably more agreeable than some of the other options we were looking at. We're looking at going from 3 to 5 day reservations to being able to make a reservation the previous day, which is a very effective process that other agencies have used. We were doing it because our phone systems wouldn't accommodate the day-to-day situation. But so people started calling in, and they're making all of these reservations in advance and end up canceling them when that time comes. So we're looking for more efficiency in our reservation system. Again, I talked about the labor agreement. That has been approved. It goes to our board for approval on the 19th, I think, of June. We are increasing our subscription service. This is where a person who takes at least 5 rides a week, usually a recurring type of ride, either to a dialysis center or a workshop or something like that. They can get a subscription so that we automatically have them on the schedule, so they're not calling in every week to reconfirm these rides. So that again takes some of the weight off of our phone system. We had a consultant to come in that not only reviewed Colorado operations, but looked at our entire operations, because all of our operations, bus and Metrolink, provide some type of ADA service. And the more efficient we become in all of these services, the better we become as a company in terms of serving our community and taking some of the stress off of the call-a-ride situation. So we are in the process now of having public engagements. Mr. Roach and I met with the leaders in the ADA community last week. We gave them an update on what we are doing. We got their input on other suggestions about what we need to do. We're having some public open houses. We had one last Saturday at the Kings Highway branch of the library. There's one tomorrow night at our North County Transit Center. And then there's a virtual open house on Thursday where we're inviting people to call in. And again, we're reporting and we want the feedback. We want, as we make the changes to our call-a-ride system, we want the community to be involved. We want to get their input, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right things to service the maximum number of people effectively. So that's my call-a-ride update, and I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
A question that came to mind on call-a-ride, do they pay as they go, or do they have the ability to set up an account? Or
well, they can pay as they go. Most of our call-a-ride users are using an app now, and they pay on the app for their rides.
Thank you. There was one question that does the recruitment of the operators, is that included in your hiring fares, or is that a separate operation altogether? When you recruit the operators for the call-a-ride reservation center.
So yes, are you talking about our hiring events?
Yes.
They include everybody. So initially we were focusing on bus operators, but they've always been open for hiring bus operators, mechanics, call-a-ride operators, Metrolink operators, even dispatchers. I mean, all kinds of job openings that relate to our operations.
Thank you. Any other questions that has to do with the ridership, additional updates, or the call-a-ride?
You hear me?
Okay, I'm sorry.
James Neely.
Okay, James, go ahead.
I noticed on the agenda there was going to be an update on the new line, the green line. I just thought that if we were going to get an update on it.
Okay, so that's as I stated every meeting, that's pretty much Talby's baby. He likes to talk about that, but I think we did report that it has been approved by East West Gateway as the local preferred alternative. So we're in the process now of finalizing plans in terms of design and construction and that kind of stuff. And Tammy's working very diligently on trying to find the money to finance this. There are open houses that are going on right now. Let me see, I think these are all, well, April 23rd, there's an open house. We'll send you this information. We're kind of doing these open houses similar to what we're doing with call-a-ride in terms of making sure the community is aware of what we're doing and getting feedback on the process. So that's about all I know about the Green Line, other than, of course, it goes over Vanderbilt from Chippewa to Natural Bridge and up to Grand. And I think it's going to be, what, 7 years, Tammy, before we get there?
Yep.
Well, I guess I won't ride it. James, there is a.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
No. I'll take back that statement there.
Don't say
James,
that. Come on.
There was a report sent out this morning by Kim on the update. Now, if it didn't go to all the board members, I will send you a copy. The board members a copy. Yeah, Kim, Kim sent out an update this morning on it. Thank you, Kim. Okay. Finance.
Good afternoon. Would you like me to start with the two items that we have on the agenda to start? Is that okay?
Yes.
One meeting placed.
Yes, so it looks like, and I apologize for missing the last meeting. It looked like the question was asked about COVID relief funds. So as you might remember, we received in all three funds 363.5 million.
Can't hear you, I'm on my meeting.
I'm still on mute.
I heard,
Can you guys hear me or not?
I can.
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Yes.
Loud
Okay.
and clear.
All right, I'll be a little bit louder, sorry. So I just want to kind of backtrack a little bit. So for the COVID relief money, we received $363.5 million. And when we first received this money in, we allocated it between use in Missouri and Illinois. So that split was $272.5 million for Missouri and $91 million for Illinois. So we currently have left $226.5 million. And how we have this obligated or laid out is that there is 53 million remaining funds to be used in the St. Clair County region. We have 80 million set aside for the local match on the light rail vehicles. We have 60.5 million that's being used by St. Louis County in this budget. And we have 33 million that is set aside for allocation in the city of St. Louis. And so that's where our current funding stands for the COVID relief funds. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions on the COVID relief? Hopefully we get some time to look at the numbers, and we have some questions. We can come back next meeting with it.
Okay. No, that sounds wonderful. And then the next line item, it looks like there was a question relating to the cost of online purchases. So I think, I don't think Tom's on the call this meeting, but that really is somewhat to do with the Fair Collection Project. So as we use the mobile app, there is a cost to do that. So we've seen an increase in the usage of the mobile app. We expect to continue to see that increase. And the additional cost for that, really related to the mobile app itself, is around 2%. So when you look at our passenger revenue, if you looked at the universities and you kind of pulled those out, or if you were just talking about, and I'm just going to throw a number out there on 10 million, it would run between $200,000 and $250,000. But we do have some spreadsheets that we actually account for this information. You know, how much are we spending in these fees? We put something together every month, and I can forward that information to you too, if you'd like to see the detail.
Okay. What about, I know at one time there was no sales tax collected on purchases by individuals for online purchases. How does that affect our budget, or does it?
So that did not pass when that was set forward in St. Louis County. So as far as I know, that tax did not pass. And so we do not receive additional money for that.
Okay. Thank you.
And then I thought, let me open up the February financial. So this is year to date through February. And as you remember, the 24 budget is a little bit messy. And this is mainly because at the time, we didn't know that we were going to draw all the COVID relief money in. And so when you're looking at it, I think it's a little bit distracting looking at the budget. And then when you take into the account St. Louis County bringing in their portion of the COVID relief money, it just gets a little bit, it's difficult to read, I think. So when you look at our revenue through February, we're at 182.5 million. And our expenses are at 211.8 million. So what that means is we have a loss of 30 million, and that's primarily being covered by COVID relief money coming in. So that's where those funds are coming in. So it looks odd this year, and it will continue to look odd. When we get to 25, it's going to clean up a lot, and it'll be more manageable again to look at. But I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of Tammy on the finance report?
Just a really quick question. I know you just outlined the remaining 262 in COVID relief funds. Is the plan to expend all those by June 30th of this year so they won't be included in next year's budget, or they will?
No, they won't be included for St. Louis County. So St. Louis County is using the money for operating expense. So so the budget, the only operating dollars in there is the 60.5 million. So that's so next year, I'm sorry, I'm taking the long way around this. But next year it will be cleaner because it won't be in there. The other money is being used for capital purposes, so it's not within the operating budget, so it will clean it up. So both St. Louis City is using their 33 million. It will sit out in the capital budget, not in the operating budget, so it won't cloud the numbers. And St. Clair County is the same way. It's like sitting aside in an account for capital purposes, and they've been using that money throughout the last few years.
Okay, so just to clarify, the 65 million though in St. Louis County, Tammy, will be expended this fiscal year?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
And like I said, Tammy, once we look at those numbers, if we have any additional questions, we will get back with you before the meeting so you can prepare for them.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions for finance? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing that, security.
Good evening, Commissioner. How are you?
Find yourself.
I'm well. I'm well. So it looks like for the agenda, we wanted to do some updates for the secure platform plan. So it's moving forward. I'm happy to say that we hope, and you're all hearing this before most people, that we're going to see some gates being put up in our first packages on the east side. So for a little bit of update on each of the stations in package one, just so you know, Emerson has just basically had concrete laid. JJK has concrete and fencing. Washington Park has all their fencing and they are working on concrete. And College is partially up with regard to the fencing and they're working on fiber optics currently. But once we get to a certain point, and once that concrete is laid, we'll be able to put our gates up, and we're very excited about that.
We could you let us know when you're, maybe we can take a look and see how they look going up, so we can see something actual as opposed to pictures.
Commissioner, you bet. We're going to go ahead and I'll have a drone up to do some live footage of that particular event.
Okay.
And also, just real quickly, in my new role, I don't know how many folks have come down to actually tour the real-time camera center or to have a deeper discussion about our SPP project as it moves forward. But I would love for you all to come and be part of that and come down, and I'd love to host you. So I'm going to put my contact information into the chat board for everybody. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you'd like to come down and see the real-time camera center in action.
Yeah, that's another best kept secret. We need to get that out too.
I agree, sir. I agree.
It is fantastic.
Great. Glad to hear.
Okay. One of the things we were kind of looking for is that we always mention package 1 through 6 or 1 through 7.
Yes, sir.
We hear about the gates or the stops in platform 1 and package 1. Is there a possibility that we can just get a listing of what stops are in each of the projects? So at least we know, we don't need an update on each one of them, but at least we know what stops are in each of the packages. Right
Absolutely.
now,
Yes, absolutely, Commissioner. We have that. I'll make sure that I send over the slides of our PowerPoint so that you have that by the end of today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions on security? Okay. Marketing.
Good afternoon. I'm Patty Beck, filling in for Ted Zimmerman to give the marketing and communications report today. Just to follow up on what Missy said, all of the secure platform plan information is on our Metro Transit website, and it does break down the individual packages, and there are timelines for all of the packages too. But Missy can send you the slides and the link to the website to get more information.
Thank you.
Yes, so The marketing communications part of your packet is pretty thick. We were really busy in February. It's packed full of some great information. I'm not going to take the time, you'll be happy because of this, to go through every single page because there are a bunch of pages back there, but it does represent a lot of hard work by our team. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to hit some of the key highlights for you. It was a great month for media sentiment. 86% of the media coverage that we garnered in February for Metro Transit was either positive or neutral in nature, and that is really, really good. That means only 14% of the media coverage for Metro Transit was negative. Those are really, really good numbers. The media reports in February reached more than 25 million people and were worth a value of $2.3 million. One of our highlights in February, a story that got a lot of play, a lot of positive, wonderful media coverage, was about Bruce Williams, our Metro bus operator who has been behind the wheel of a Metro bus driving for us for 50 years. And we thought he was worthy of recognition, and he is a regional role model and is just a wonderful, wonderful employee. And we were happy to get lots of media attention for him for this milestone in his career and frankly in our history as well. Our February metrics for hiring events, Chuck talked about them very aggressively, promoting hiring events and joining our transit team, social media campaigns, our news releases, all of those are in your packet like you normally will find them. So you can look through those yourselves if you haven't already done so. What I'd like to take just a little bit of time, and I know we're running short, is to direct your attention to the very, very back of the marketing communications report. It will say customer pulse survey is where it starts. It's right after the news releases. You're looking for it. The survey is for Q4 of 2023, and that survey was actually conducted from January 23rd through the end of February. We have entirely revamped this survey, which is done quarterly. And if you are looking at the page, you can see that the very first page into the survey talks about the sample size that was 452, and it has other statistical data there as well. This survey was conducted by email and it went to 60,000 people. We are conducting the current survey for this quarter right now. 81% of the survey participants indicated the main reason that they use Metro Transit is to get to work. That's important. It's important for us to know how people are using the system so we can plan around our customers' needs and adjust to mobility trends. It's important to keep in mind that 95% of our customers have mobile devices, so the email seems to work well for them. However, there are plans to go back to incorporating in-person surveys as well. Another interesting question you'll see here in your survey packet was, overall, how satisfied are you with your Metro Transit experience? More than 18% said they were completely satisfied. 34% said they were mostly satisfied, and 28% said they were moderately satisfied. That's a total of 80% of those surveyed who are satisfied with their transit experience. Not asking them about transit service, but about their overall transit experience. Those are good numbers. So not satisfied at all, 5%. That's it. You mostly hear people complaining, so it's always nice to hear about what we're doing right. So these responses are welcome, and it keeps us, have a finger gauge on the people who are using the system. Another question was, based on your experience, how likely are you to ride Metro Transit again? Nearly 56% said extremely likely, more than half. 25% said very likely. Again, that's 80% of those surveyed in this poll said that they are likely to ride again, most likely to ride again. Only 3% not at all likely. And that's a very small number. The very last page of our report, so the very, very last page in your packet, shows you the data on the household income information of those survey participants. 75% of those surveyed during this customer survey make less than $60,000 a year. That's important too, so we know who our customers are. That concludes the marketing communications report. Are there any questions?
I have, anyone else have any questions on the marketing segment? Thanks for that.
Patty,
input.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Did you say that this went to 60,000 emails and you had 452 responses?
Yes.
So what is that response rate?
I do not have that in front of me. But
And was there any incentive for people to take this survey?
we'll have to ask Ted that because I'm not directly affiliated with these quarterly surveys. Ted and our research team conduct those. So I'm not sure. I don't know if there was an incentive if you participated that you're put into a drawing or, you know, if you got a free pass or something. I can't answer that question, Kim. I don't want to steer you wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Kim, I know that you, the Citizens for Modern Transit put out a survey. How do these numbers compare with the ones that you received?
Ed, we do quite a few different surveys, so I'm not exactly sure which one you're referring to.
Okay. All right, well, I'll get back with you on that one then.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
All right. Colorado, I think Mrs. Stewart had already gave a report on the Colorado. Anything additional you want to add, Mrs. Stewart?
No, but I would be happy to answer any questions, additional questions.
Okay. No old business, no new business. We have a request for a future meeting. And it's basically the county involvement with the new Green Line. And we will get more information on that and send it out to the members, board members, and send it out to the St. Louis County representatives. Okay. Any other thing you want to bring before the body today? Okay. Hearing none, the next meeting is May the 13th at 4 o'clock, May 13th, 2024, 4 o'clock p.m. Okay, no additional, nothing to add. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Can say everybody loved it. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. See you next month.
All right, thank you.